Welcome to the 32nd episode of the Can Learn Library here at the North Battleford Library. I'm in the kitchen now, so it's safe to take off my mask, because otherwise when you go into the library, everyone's got to wear their masks. But we're in here and there's just me. So, okay, when we think of Christmas, we think of family, fun, and food. There are many versions of shortbread out there, but today I thought I would make whipped shortbread. I'm just going to give you a little overview of shortbread cookies, which is kind of interesting because it's a type of cookie with a high butter content. The traditional recipe is 1 part sugar, 2 parts butter, and 3 parts flour. Some recipes use a 1:1:1 ratio, and there are variations in between. Later recipes have added eggs. It has been called the ancestor of all butter cookies. The original shortbreads were made with oatmeal. The more elegant white flour came later and lightened the cookie. The addition of rice flour gives shortbread a grainy, crumbly texture, while cornstarch gives it a more dense texture. Shortbread originated in Scotland, where cookies are called biscuits, and anywhere else in the UK as well, in medieval times. According to the EnglishTeaStore.com, Scottish shortbread evolved from a medieval biscuit bread, a twice-baked, enriched bread roll, dusted with sugar and spices, and hardened into a rusk. Eventually, butter was substituted for yeast, and shortbread was born. So I'm going to just show you what ingredients you're going to need, and we'll be off. Okay, so these are the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to need 1 cup of unsalted butter softened. You're going to need 1/4 cup of cornstarch, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You're going to need 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, or icing sugar as we know it. You're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and if you like, you can take 15 candied cherries and slice them in half. My kids never liked maraschino cherries or cherries, so I will be making it without the cherries, but it does make it more decorative and colorful. Okay, so now we get to put the cookies together. Okay, so I have preheated the oven to 350, and I've taken my cup of butter, and you really do need to soften it a little in the microwave, because I tried to do it even though it had been out. It was hard to do with the Mixmaster, but I got it whipped up, and I'll just show you here. So it's supposed to be smooth and fluffy, so I've pretty much got it smooth and stuffy. Fluffy, not stuffy. Okay. So then we're going to add the cornstarch, the flour, the powdered sugar, and vanilla, and then we have to whip it until it's light and fluffy again. So I'm going to add all these ingredients, and then I'm going to whip off camera because it's just too loud for you. So we'll just add all our ingredients. Just make sure we get it all in here. And hopefully it's going to turn out. This is a different recipe than what I use at home. So we'll see. Approximate 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. So now I'm going to beat it, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when we're done beating it. Okay, so I've whipped it to its light and fluffy. Now we're going to roll it into small balls and put them onto an ungreased pan. And that's the nice thing about doing any cookies that have a lot of butter or margarine in them. You don't have to grease the pan. I love that. Okay, so it says to take about a tablespoon and roll it into a ball, and it tells you that to put about 2 inches apart on the ungreased pan. So I'm going to do that. 2 inches apart. So that's probably going to be maybe about 12 cookies. So we'll do the first batch and then we'll show you what those look like. I always found that it was a good time to bake cookies when my kids were at school, and then kind of hide them underneath something that looked not appealing in the deep freeze. Because trying to bake, as you know, with your family around, you might not get too much to keep for Christmas. But it is a nice thing to do with them. It's just you got to be prepared for a lot of sampling. I guess you could call it sampling. Okay, so once we get them all rolled, so far I've got 6. Well, maybe I might get 15 on this pan. This is a little bit bigger of a cookie sheet than what I've got at home. But I don't think they expand too much, but you just want to make it easy to take them off your cookie rack. Because they're going to wait for 5 minutes on the cookie sheet after you take them out of the oven, and then you can put them onto a plate or a cooling rack, whichever you have. Okay, so we'll just get them going here. Almost there. What's nice about this cookie, I find it's not overly sweet, so it's kind of a, I don't know, it's more of a rich cookie, I guess, because of all the butter. The powdered sugar, I don't know, some people might say that that's probably sweeter than regular sugar, but I don't know, I don't find them that sweet, and I wonder how you'll find them. Okay, so we're just about done here. It's kind of crumbly, so you're just going to have to kind of pat it together and roll it a little. Okay. I might get more. Maybe making my cookies too small. I don't know. It all depends on how you see it, I guess. I'm doing a tablespoon, but maybe I'll get more than 30. I'm always excited if I get more than what the recipe says. Not so much when it's the other way around. But, okay, so now that I've got them here, okay, I'm just going to get a fork and we'll be right back. So with a little plate and some flour in it, you're going to dip your fork just so that your cookie doesn't, just kind of flatten it a little bit here. I don't know about you, I struggle with getting mine all the same size. So some cookies might be a little bit bigger, some might be a little less the size, but as long as there's not a big discrepancy in the size, they should cook all right. Because once we've done this part, if you do want to add cherries to the top, that will be the time before they go into the oven. Some people put nuts or a little chocolate chip, but I'm going to just have mine plain because I guess whatever you're used to is how most people will do it. Okay, so now that I've got them all flattened, we're going to bake them for 12 to 14 minutes, and depending on your oven, some ovens are hotter, some are cooler, so if you just keep an eye on them, and then when I take them out, I'll show you what they look like. And here are my cookies after they've cooked for 12 minutes, and then I let them cool on the cookie sheet for 5 minutes before taking them off, and it looks like they look pretty yummy. I could have maybe made them a little bigger, but some people like to have a smaller cookie so that they can try other things, especially when there's an array of goodies, as there usually is in the holiday season. These will keep in an airtight container at room temperature for 7 days, or you can freeze them up to 3 months. And that's what's nice, is when you can freeze them if you realize maybe there's an abundance, and it would be nice to have a treat later on. Well, that's all the time we have left for today. I hope to see you next time for the Can Learn Library at the North Battleford Library. Take care.